So I wanted to do like a behind this, wait, let me make sure. Okay, yep, I wanted to do like a behind the scenes first time, because you're only your first time, right? So this is my first time. If it doesn't work, I figured out that I can record the screen and still upload it to my Facebook and my YouTube and to LinkedIn, because it's my first one. But using CC Elevate U AI webinar software, first time on July 29, 2025, we have Papa Don that's coming in here live at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here a little few minutes early, and just gonna walk through some of the features and things that, just documenting the journey, okay? So Don isn't here yet, but let me make sure that I'm recording my mic on, because I did that last time in regards to my mic not being on. So the first thing I'm gonna do is what I learned in training yesterday, just in case. I'm going to record my screen, because I not sure if it's gonna work, and if anything, I'll have this documented and I could be able to record the screen, and I can be able to make sure this is still gonna let me do it. Okay, I can record the screen, and if anything, I'll have my first time on video, right? And so if it doesn't work on Facebook, YouTube, like I'm streaming plan, I got a backup plan. You know how many times I've been live and it didn't work out right? And I was then caught with no type of nothing, because you can't repeat something live. I've done all of it. So this is the live setup. It's pretty cool. What I like about it is you can organize your settings. So the microphone, I'm going to organize to be the microphone that I have here clipped to me, which it looks to be the default. The speakers are my speakers. So to broadcast to other platforms, you can broadcast to Facebook as well as YouTube by putting in an external broadcast key. So I tried to set this up last night, but none of the keys aren't showing. So I don't know what's gonna happen here, but we'll see. Show corner camera input while sharing screen on sides. Not sure what that means. And so your screenshots slow. So these are the different settings you can do in regards to the input output settings. But then the other thing I liked about this is when you go to the share screen setting, you can share slides, you can share audio or video. So different slides you want to go to, you can share slides during the presentation. You can share audio, video. So you must be in the webinar room and have started the broadcast. So when I go to share pre-recorded audio or video, okay. But you can have that option. You can share a whiteboard. So you can go and share a whiteboard. If I want to say AI cash, 'cause I'm silly, cash, because I'm your captain. What up, though? Shout out to Stefan Cincianto for creating this opportunity for business owners to step their game up. I was watching a multi-millionaire webinar yesterday, AI cash story, and then we're gonna go CCC, and it says to just try. And if anybody knows Adrian Mays and my journey, I will try. Now, will it be perfect? Nope. Wish it was perfect? Yeah, because I'm a Virgo and you want perfection, but that's not what life looks like. CCC Elevate U. So my point is, you can use the it's the whiteboard. I've never used one, but this is my first time. So see how that works? So you can use your whiteboard during presentations, okay? You can share handouts. So I actually uploaded my 7-day quick start playbook. So you can share this and you can see how that's kind of cool. You can have the handout right in the opportunity for you people to take action today. So my 7-day quick start playbook to your AI cash story is a step-by-step guide. And so people can actually get this in the chat right away, right? So I wanted to play with that last night. I uploaded that, and then I can hide the handout, right? And then so for Papa Don, he can have his book information right there. And then to share offer, I didn't set my offer up yet. I just didn't have time. But during the training today, Stefan actually linked it where you can book a discovery call with me. And so that's going to be the option for people to be able to, help leverage their brand in regards to building with the AI cash story captain. That's me. So creating that presentation, I wonder if I can go over that real fast if I have time. It's 3:49. It was so cool. Let me just show you real quick because I'm doing it. It was so fast because during okay, he's not here yet. Let me just finish, stay focused, right? Oh, Papa Don's here. Yay, Papa Don is here. And then you can share a poll, and I create a poll so you can have these launched throughout the actual function. So let me go to Papa Don because he's here. Okay, let me go. Let me see. How do I now let's see how we do this. So Papa Don is here. Let me just go to start the webinar. Let me just see what happens. Papa Don, can you hear me? Maybe I wasn't supposed to start it yet. Oh, that's how you share screens. Nope. Okay, let me end the webinar. How do I go to Papa Don? Okay, I'm gonna click end the webinar real quick. It stop the webinar requiring remove all guests with printers. Okay, now I don't want to do that. All right, so how do I? Let's see. I hope if this is live streaming, this is what it looks like when you just get going. Papa Don, I can't see you. There you come. Uh-oh, here he comes. Can you see me and hear me talking crazy? Wait, let me see if I hit this here. Toggle the volume. Okay, Papa Don, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nope, I can't hear you. Oh, look at us. Wait, let me get this down after the video. All right, so you gotta document the journey. Papa Don, can you hear me? Can't hear me? Let me see, he's typing in the chat. I have no sound. Toggle audio. I can hear your end. I can say something. Try to say something.
Can you hear me?
I can.
I cannot hear you.
Oh, that's a problem. Okay, toggle audio. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Research, and I came to learn that this is your first interview thing.
Well, no, this is my first launching of my webinar platform. I've been doing the live virtual conversations. I've been using StreamYard for Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. I've been doing them every week since May the 6th. But this is the first launch of my own AI webinar software that I can do this for business owners. So you are my first.
So you're gonna share that with me so I can do it too. Right?
Yes, sir. And then today in training, I just got out of training with the owner of this, and I asked him about your bestseller book and how to gain more attraction for what your goals are, and I recorded it. Because I know me, so I can be able to send that to you. So how we can leverage evergreen webinars. He gave me a step-by-step plan for us.
That's great. I think we went through one of my software guys and I went through a big analysis of Amazon and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very detailed. And I have this 48-hour window. And if I can get more sales per day for those 48 hours than whoever leads it, then I get to be a big dude, okay? And we went through and we looked at the people that are in that area and so forth. And our estimate is we need somewhere between 150 and 200 people to buy the book.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the book is going to eventually be priced at $19.95. But for this first deal, I have to charge for the book, but it's a PDF. It's not a hardback book.
Okay.
But it's only 99 cents. So if someone can pop for 99 cents, that counts. So my objective is I want to get 150, 200 people buy the damn book. And
period.
You will have made a prolific author that doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground.
You are more than that, Don. I will not allow you to say that. Seeing the information, oh my gosh, from your intro, I don't even know if we're live right now because because it's my first time using it. So we're literally just talking right now. So, but looking at your intro, this is an honor for me. I want to read it. Like, I don't want to have, because I know that, so I will do what you ask. But if that's okay, since we have a few minutes and we're early, I want to read this amazing email of who Papa Don is. Is that okay?
No, I don't care.
Because I was gonna do my amazing intro, but I was like, you know what? Let's read this. Okay. You know the advice: work hard, hustle more, grind till you shine. That's cute, but let's be real. I tried that, and all I got was a wrist cramp, and an inbox full of opportunities that paid less than my old summer job. When the guru said anyone can make six figures online, I laughed. Me? With an outdated tech background, zero online following, and a laughable tolerance for complicated systems? But that's precisely why I wrote 3 Steps to $10,000, because after decades of building businesses, retiring, unretiring, and learning from some of the best minds in digital marketing, like David Sharp, Jonathan Montoya, Daniel Chu, and Nathan Bokers, I found an amazing, almost embarrassing, simple system that not only works, but also exceptionally well for those of us with no patience for fluff or overwhelmed. It all started not in a garage or dorm room, but in a high-level IBM office. I was staring at a life-changing corporate promotion in the face, offered personally by a vice president, but I realized that accepting it meant missing out on my boys growing up. That weekend, I chose my family over the corner office. My wife asked, "Why don't you just start your own business, Donald?" So I did. I bought my first business, scaled it, and sold it for several $1 million. What followed was a wild ride, multiple software ventures, some hits and some flops, but overall, a very profitable journey. I retired early, got bored, came back, and built again, accumulating more treasure on my journey. Just last week, I caught up with a friend over coffee who's diving into digital marketing. We spent hours discussing lead generation strategies, and I shared my favorite trick that I learned from Jonathan Montoya. It was a simple yet effective way to get leads without feeling overwhelmed. But even after traveling the world and living the retired dream, I found myself restless again. Around 2019, 2020, I felt that familiar spark. My mid-2021, I found the A-team of mentors, training, and digital marketing suddenly clicked for me. Despite all my success before, this was a new frontier. I became a top performer, learning directly from industry legends. I learned all the mistakes, pitfalls, and best practices, and now I want to share that knowledge with the world to help people like you build something real. I wrote this book because I tried all the complicated, overhyped nonsense and realized it didn't need to go be that way. I boiled everything down to 3 steps. Pick the right product, automate sales, and find just the right leads. No complicated launches, no need for a personal brand or a dime spent on branding, just a 3-step process that turned strangers into eager buyers while I was out living life, not glued to my screen. While chatting, he asked me what keeps me inspired to keep pushing the simplicity of this method. I told him how refreshing it was to answer emails from my hammock, feeling the autumn breeze rather than being stuck in an office. This book isn't about becoming a social media celebrity or learning to code. It's about building a real sustainable digital business that pays you, yes you, month after month from anywhere. There's a good reason for this lazy method. Life is too short to spend it on things that don't matter. If you like drama, you'll hate how straightforward this is. If you prefer to overcomplicate, this will drive you nuts. But if you're tired of the endless loop of learning, tweaking, and regretting, then you're in the right place. And because everyone loves a bullet list, don't lie, you do. Let's break down what you'll actually get out of this book. Forget the vague promises. Here's exactly what you'll discover inside, each one building off the last to create a true snowball of the digital growth. Number 1, unlock the foundation in choosing the right product so you never again waste time on dead-end offers or things nobody but your grandma wants. Grasp understanding to a core business formula and selecting a high-ticket product that solves specific problems for your target audience, because simply getting more sales is a myth if you don't solve a real problem. Build unstoppable momentum in building your automated sales process, letting you turn your online presence into a nonstop sales machine that doesn't quit when you go offline. See how creating a 24/7 sales system that converts leads into customers without constant manual work, including landing pages, webinars, and email follow-ups, actually lets you win back how your time and sanity while making more than you thought possible. Tap into getting targeted leads and scaling your business with a system made for rapid growth, not slow, painful trial and error. Exploit generating quality leads through strategic social media approaches, starting with Facebook groups for initial traction, then expanding to other platforms and paid advertising so you never have to beg for attention or cold pitch anyone ever again. That's the real stuff. Each lesson designed to snap another piece into place while you're running a business that almost takes care of itself. Notice how each insight stacks? That's by design. One unlocks the next, making overwhelm a thing of the past and progress inevitable for anyone who dares to actually implement. Now, I didn't write this to win literary awards, even though we want you to be the best Amazon bestseller. I wrote it because if I can go from saying no to a high-ranking job at IBM to building companies from scratch, selling them for millions, navigating Y2K chaos, and then starting again in my 70s with digital marketing, then trust me, anyone can. And for the professional skeptics, congratulations, you're halfway there. The only real danger here, taking action and waking up to find that overnight success was just a few simple steps away all along. Next up, you'll rip open the first layer and see why choosing the right foundation isn't just smart, it's necessary. No drama, just business. So who am I? Picture a guy staring at a laptop, completely baffled by the whole idea of making money online. Now rewind further, way further. And that guy, that was me. Donald was working a high-paying, successful job at IBM. I had climbed the corporate mountain, but every meeting, every flight, every milestone kept me further from what I value most, watching my boys grow up. Then one day, the vice president looked at me in the eye and said, Donald, I'd like to offer you a job. It would have meant more money and more prestige, and even less time with my family. I didn't even tell my wife. I spent the weekend wrestling with the decision. Then come Monday, I said no. I couldn't go back to being an ordinary worker either. When I finally told my wife, she asked, why don't you start your own business? And that simple moment changed everything. When I started my online journey, there was no team, no fans, and certainly no monthly income to write home about. I bought my first business and sold it for several million a few years later. Then I launched software ventures. Some hit, others flopped. But within 4 or 5 years, I created and sold multiple different software packages to that company, sold for millions. You'd think I'd ride off into the sunset, right? I tried, retired in the early 90s, but I wasn't wired for golf and leisure. I got bored fast. So in the mid-90s, I re-entered the software world just in time for Y2K. A former client from years past came knocking with that perceived problem. I didn't have the workforce, but I found a company in Holland, subcontracted, solved the issue, and eventually brought them. Moved key employees to the US and crushed the Y2K demand. Then a major manufacturer called. My friend, VP at the company, asked for help. I told him, write me a $750,000 check. When I deliver the report, you owe me another $1 million. Computers continued running when the clock struck midnight on New Year's Eve, 1999. And the software world didn't end. I sold the company in 2000 and officially retired. But by 2019, 2020, the itch was back. I needed something new and had become interested in the world of online marketing. To learn the business, I bought many courses, went down many rabbit holes, and concluded there were many fake gurus more interested in selling than teaching. By 2021, I had been introduced to the A-team, learning straight from David Sharp, Jonathan Montoya, Russell Brunson, and others. I soaked in the hard-earned lessons, what works, what doesn't, the pitfalls, the breakthroughs, and my new businesses flourished. I realized I needed to share this knowledge with the world. What set this whole journey into the digital world in motion wasn't some grand epiphany in a boardroom. It was the crawl of a guy who built and sold companies, solved global problems, and couldn't sense of why selling a $37 ebook online felt harder than closing multi-million-dollar deals. But my first online steps painful. I once spent 3 days writing copy for a landing page and launched it to an audience of one, me. A little humility goes a long way. And after enough cringeworthy attempts, I did what I'd always done, dug in, asked questions, studied the terrain. I geeked out on digital offers, automation, and tracking what actually worked. And slowly, the tide turned. I stopped believing in magic bullets and started trusting in systems. I found that going step by step with clear, repeatable actions created results. No fluff, no guru smoke and mirrors, just persistent execution. The first commission, small in dollars, massive invalidation, reminding me why I do this. I didn't want to just succeed. I wanted to help others break free too. Because it's not about the money. It's about creating a life on your terms. I've lived the corporate climb, lived the software boom, lived the retirement dream, and none of it compares to showing someone the roadmap out of the digital maze. So when people ask how I help others hit that first $10,000 online, I tell them this. It's not about some shiny tactic. It's about filtering out the noise, following a proven plan and executing with ruthless clarity. Every misstep, every facepalm moment, every win, they all built this map I now hand to others. This book, it's not theory. It's a culmination of decades of business building, from IBM boardrooms to Y2K crisis management to legendary marketers' digital trenches. I've cracked the code, failed it spectacularly, and rebuilt again and again. And if you're reading this, you're not just getting ideas, you're getting the full disclosure blueprint from someone who's walked every step of the journey. So welcome to the no fluff, no hype, get it done system for building your digital business. I've been the corporate exec, the software mogul, the retiree, the board entrepreneur, and now the digital others break free too. Because it's not about the money. It's about creating a life on your terms. I've lived the corporate climb, lived the software boom, lived the retirement dream, and none of it compares to showing someone the roadmap out of the digital maze. So when people ask how I help others hit that first $10,000 online, I tell them this. It's not about some shiny tactic. It's about filtering out the noise, following a proven plan and executing with ruthless clarity. Every misstep, every facepalm moment, every win, they all built this map I now hand to others. This book, it's not theory. It's a culmination of decades of business building, from IBM boardrooms to Y2K crisis management to legendary marketers' digital trenches. I've cracked the code, failed it spectacularly, and rebuilt again and again. And if you're reading this, you're not just getting ideas, you're getting the full disclosure blueprint from someone who's walked every step of the journey. So welcome to the no fluff, no hype, get it done system for building your digital business. I've been the corporate exec, the software mogul, the retiree, the board entrepreneur, and now the digital mentor. And if my story can help even one more person take that first step, then everything I've done was worth it. Let's go build something real. And then you said, probably more than you wanted. Papa Don, I had to read that. I had to. And you know what? Thank you. But I want to go right in. I know it may have taken longer, but
You take your time. This is your show.
oh my gosh, I appreciate you allowing me to do that, my friend. So before we jump right into the book, can you share why you believe now is the best time for people, especially over 50, to build a digital business, my friend?
Well, one of the things my target audience, the group are people. I find that in all the thousands of videos I've put out, the responses I've had, my target audience are typically people men and women, that are in their 40s, 50s, and so forth. Okay, that's one issue. The other issue is that as I observe the realities of what's going on politically and from our economic point of view, a lot of people are being displaced today, and I feel for those people that, I imagine this lady that graduates from Georgetown, she gets a job in some place in Washington, D.C., she spends 20 years doing everything they ask her to do and excelling, and then they do away with the whole damn thing. And now she's 50 years old and she's lost. And so there's a lot of people that have got to restructure their lives right now. And I want to help them, let them see options, because most of them, I won't say many, most are just lost, and they're frustrated. And I can see it in the conversations I get involved with. So that's why. I mean, that. I don't remember your question. I got to see. This is where I get off. You got to.
No, you were good.
But that's my motive. That's. I have, and I'm not going to say this in front of the other group. I don't give a shit about any more money. I got all the money. Everything I do now, I just give to my kids. I don't. I mean, I'm past that point now. I feel a deep desire for whether people buy the book, whether people buy a course, whether whatever. I really have a desire to show them. I believe that digital marketing is, in fact, the greatest thing that's ever happened in our country in terms of opportunity. And I think that if people will gut through the learning process, and I'm pleased to see, because I don't know how many programs I've been through, and I know a lot, and I've spent tons of money because I won't even think about something if I don't take the class. If someone does a class, I'm going to buy the son of a bitch, and I'm going to go through it. And many of them I don't get through because I can see it's full of crap, and I'm not going to spend my time that way. But if I can help someone, that's meaningful to me. Mm-hmm. I find that I turn 82 in the next 60 days.
Do you? When is your birthday?
29.
September 29th? I'm September 6th.
We're both okay.
I'm right, I'm a Virgo, so.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So I'm on the other side
yep.
of the line. But the point being that I really think about immortality now. I think about, and so what is my motive? My motive is legacy. I have several businesses which are structured, and so people will manage, and my wife and my children they're not kids. I mean, I've got two. My sons are both very successful. They've grown up around me. They've built their own businesses, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm very happy for that opportunity that they had. For me, however, I am deeply religious. I'm very comfortable with I know that I was put here for a purpose, and I want to fulfill that purpose between me and my God. My pony in this is my legacy. That's it.
So you bring up legacy, my friend. So why go all in digital marketing? So why would you pick digital marketing to set up your legacy?
Well, because to build, so many people are restricted. I mean, I decide I want to buy a company, I can buy a company. I can figure out, if I can't just buy it, I can figure out how to finance it, I can figure out how to do it, to put it together. Most people aren't in that situation. Most people, they knew what they did in their job, they knew what they learned in school, and they have no freaking experience in the real world of running a business. And it's a very different world, and you know that. Yes. You're running your own business.
Yes.
Well, those people are lost. Those people don't need to be lost. Why digital marketing? Well, it's the currency that we're in. It is what we do. And it is the greatest opportunity, I believe, in the history of mankind in terms of participating in the world. And I mean, it's got all kinds of negative connotations. It's got all kinds of things that happen. But that's life. So why that? Because to me, it is the most secure way for a person to create their own destiny. I'm a huge proponent, and with the people that I choose to take on and counsel personally, and I don't do that on a that's not a broad brush thing. I'm very selective, and I will. Someone fucks up, I get rid of them in a minute. I say, you go talk to someone else. I'm not going to waste my energy on this. And I've said it 3 times. You don't get it. I'm not going to say it a 4th time. There's an opportunity for people. I want to share that. I actually, at this point in my life, if I move one person to success, and I've had the opportunity to move many people to success, not with this book. This book hasn't even been published yet. But those are the same things what I've written about. It's the same things that I've done. But if I can move one person, what I feel is better than any amount of money I ever made in my life.
That's how I feel too, and I haven't reached your accolades as of yet. But it does lead me into the next question in regards to, like, what was the moment that you felt that this 3-step system wasn't just another idea, but the missing link people over 50 needed to actually be successful?
anything prophetic about it at all. All that happened was I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my businesses. I'm looking at where I am and what do I want to do. And there's all, I got a list. I've got so many opportunities to do things that I said, well, wait a minute, Don. Wait a minute. Come on, let's be real. You're coming on 82 years old. You know, you're not going to live forever. I mean, you feel like you are, and I'm fortunate. I'm in good health, and I walk a couple of miles every day, and I do all that stuff that younger guys do. What do I want for myself? What do I want? What do I want to leave? Well, I'm proud of my sons, the way they've grown up and succeeded. I know I did something right in terms of motivating them. My wife and I will celebrate next month. We'll celebrate our 60th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations! That's
so
amazing.
I know that piece of my life was, I mean, we went through some hard times. We came very near to divorce a couple times back when I was just making money. But those parts of my life are real. Now, this part of my life is for me. And I think about, okay, I'm going to pass. I'm going to live in a different universe in somewhere in the near future. Or not near, but in the future. I'm going to live in a different universe.
Right.
Hopefully not near.
Right. Right. Knock on wood.
But the point is, what gets to be important? Well, it isn't that I mean, I'm not going to have as much money as Donald Trump. I'm not going to have, there's a lot of things I'm not going to, but I'm totally satisfied with what I am and where I am. So what's important? Legacy is important to me. I want to leave something that some 20 years from now, 50 years from now, some kid can read this stupid book and get some ideas. And what happened? So I said, well, I've never written a book. It scared the hell out of me to write a book. It's just totally out of my comfort level. And I said, all right, so you're going to write a book. So how the hell do you write a book? And so I got into that. And then what are you going to write about? Well, shit, I don't know. I can tell stories, but that's, my stories are boring stories because they're about high finance. They're about a lot of things.
See, I'm a nerd, so I'm an engineering background in the marketing, so I find your stories amazing. That's why I thought that was amazing, your writing, but keep going.
What time does this thing start?
Say it again?
What time does our deal start? Or
I think we're already live, my friend, so we're going.
Are there people on?
So,
I didn't know that.
Right. So I don't even know how to check. So I was, it's our first time. So I was letting us engage with the conversation and then,
All right. Well, now, when we do our official questions, be sure we go in order so I can stay.
We're doing them. You didn't even notice?
No, I didn't. I had to
I literally, so my job, Don, is to make you feel like this is not an interview. Like we're literally having a conversation with my virtual conversations. We're literally going in order of the questions and you're answering them amazingly. Because right now we're on the next question is, so you said the system about tech. Why is that such a game changer today instead of, something else that could be Shopify or, so.
Let me get in step with your notes that you sent me. Where are we? Give me the.
We're on the hook. We're getting the attention. So the second question in regards to you once said that the system works even if someone hates tech. Why is that such a game changer today?
Well, I'll go one before that, which was the moment that proved this three-step system works. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I want to step back because I thought about that a lot, and I thought about all the experiences, and I said. What I said was when a woman, 60 years old, who swore she couldn't even copy and paste, made her first $500 online. Mm-hmm. What that meant to her meant that multiplied to me that she had experienced that. Okay? That feeling is a magnificent feeling. It's not about hope. That's when I knew that this isn't hype.
Yeah.
That it's not about hope. We turned it into a process, okay? and that's it. So why about hate tech being a game changer?
Mm-hmm.
I can answer that very clearly. Because tech has become a gatekeeper for too long.
Yeah.
The system removes the gate. We use tools to do the heavy lifting,
Mm-hmm.
so finally succeed without being a tech. Okay, that's an objective, and that is something that we accomplish. And by the way, just going back to one of your earlier questions
Mm-hmm.
or comments, well, I've taken many courses and many trainings. It comes down to from learning this capability.
Mm-hmm.
I started with David Sharp, who taught Jonathan Latoya. Jonathan came into Dave's program about a year and a half ahead of me. And I evolved with Jonathan. I followed Jonathan and been involved with Jonathan's stuff for a long time. And then he taught, I call them the Bobsey twins, but Daniel and Nathan. Okay? And I love those guys.
Me too, yes.
And I evaluate all of those programs, and they're all great programs. They're all great programs. What I come to in my book, and I talk about those people a little bit in the book, but I don't make any recommendations or anything other than I did embed in the back of the book, if you want to go on and so forth. It sends them to that early training that Jonathan does, that introductory training that he does, that 3 days thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the recommendation I make is for them to use the Bobsey twins, Daniel and Nathan. And the reason I feel that, and I don't know if this is appropriate to say.
No, it is. Please do, because that's my AI cash story dream team. So please share on your perspective.
But the reason I say that is, well, every one of those programs are powerful. I believe what I see in Legendary, what I even see in Jonathan's program, is yes, they're sophisticated, but they're sophisticated to the point of confusion for the person. I took 2 years ago, David Sharp, because I was making a lot of money with David, and he asked me if I'd like to come work with him. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? And he said, well, he defined a BPA for me, he said, what I want you to do is talk to the people that are coming through. Because when they hit that $2,500 number, all of a sudden, life goes to hell in a handbasket. And, having some sales experience, that's really all that moment is. It's just asking them questions and getting off the product crap. I did that, but I did it really as being courteous more than anything else, because I respect David tremendously. I realized shortly into that venture what I'm getting out of this, because all of a sudden I get to sit and deal with people dealing with their internal drives, lack of drives, frustrations, confusions. I get to sit there and learn what's wrong with this, and what happens after you deal with 1,000 people or so. You start getting some pretty good metrics that you can deal with.
Right.
And so I realized, I did it for another half year. I did it for a year and a half. And then I told Dave, I said, Dave, I was taking 12, 15 calls a day. That's a full-time freaking job.
Right.
I'm trying to build my business. I got my own thing going. And so all of a sudden, I don't remember how old I was, but not as old as I am now, but a few years back, 78, 79, whatever I was, I'm working 12, 15-hour days. I mean, I'm running my business. I'm spending the bulk of the hours on these calls. And so I just had to end it. I had to prioritize.
Right.
But that experience, I wouldn't trade. I would pay to have that experience. That year and a half I spent as a BPA listening to 15, 18 people every day share their stories with me, give me an opportunity to to try to find that magical something that I could say to them that would help them. And what I came out of that learning was this. People do not understand their own superpowers. People do not believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
People have been prioritized by our education system.
Yes.
People are fucked up
Yes.
because of that. And the bulk of the hours on these calls, and so I just had to end it. I had to prioritize.
Right.
But that experience, I wouldn't trade. I would pay to have that experience.
Mm.
That year and a half I spent as a BPA listening to 15, 18 people every day share their stories with me, give me an opportunity to try to find that magical something that I could say to them that would help them. And what I came out of that learning was this. People do not understand their own superpowers. People do not believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
People have been prioritized by our education system.
Yes.
People are fucked up
Yes.
because of that. Excuse my French to whoever's in the audience.
Right.
But that's the truth. So the value, and when my sales really took off, having started coming to understand that, and coming to not talking about Dave's product or Jonathan's product or the Bobsey twins product, talking or asking the questions of this person, trying to truly understand this person, not anything about what we're supposedly talking about.
Right.
When I got to know the people,
Mm-hmm.
and they shared, and they became comfortable enough to share, then we could make some progress. Now, did I convert all those people into magicals? No, I did not.
Right.
Because you can't. I don't know what the numbers are, but I know mine wasn't 100%. But I learned how to listen. I learned how to put myself in a non-product situation to a point of I want to understand this person, and that's one of my strengths at this point in life.
So
I spend a lot of time listening.
So tell me this, Papa Don. So you've had all of that experience, and that sounds so amazing. What were some of maybe the myths and frustrations that you've seen people 50 plus run into when they're trying to start online? You've had so much experience doing that listening.
Well, what happens is, and to me, it's the education process involved in this industry, and I think it's a plague, and it's a deadly plague.
Yeah, I agree.
The typical situation is that someone takes one of those classes, they have a little success, they make $200,000 or $300,000, and they think they need to build a course and teach everyone else how to do it, and they don't know their
and then they call themselves a coach, right?
Right. And they're still amazed they even get paid, and they're out there hyping to other people.
Yeah.
And the industry is strewn with those people. And what happens is someone decides whatever the number is, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, some number they emotionally can part with at that moment. They get into it, and the reality of it, the reality of what you have to learn, the discipline you have to have,
Yes.
and what you have to focus on, destroys people. It absolutely makes them feel even further of a failure than they did before. They felt bad before they got here, and they feel worse when they leave without finishing, because they didn't do the work. And do I blame them? Well, to some degree I do.
Right.
But to a large degree I don't, because it's a societal problem. It's real.
It is.
So I really am totally off script now.
You're good.
But I just took on another young man, I don't know how old he is, he's probably 40 years old, a young man for me. I just took on another young man as a I'm not even charging him, I'm just being a
random act of kindness. That's what I call it with my foundation.
we talked and he went
Right.
through his stuff, and I could see he has yet to share with me what his crisis in life for the last couple of years has been. And I can sit here and listen to it. I know this man hurts. I know that something has really bothered him. He called me. He had signed up for Legendary 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years. I don't know what it was. And he had responded to one of my videos, and so he paid his $7 and got started. He hit the $2,500 deal in day 5, and he couldn't afford it, and he dropped out of the program and went away. And I don't know that. I mean, to me, we didn't have a relationship. I mean, he clicked on a video, came into the process, and I talked to him maybe once or twice. But no, actually, I wouldn't have talked to him. Someone else would have talked to him, because I was the affiliate. But anyway, he called me, and he had my phone number from before, and we started talking. And so I said, well, look, I'll be happy to help you however I can. And so we went through, and I told him the lineage. I said, okay, look, you got started with Legendary. David Sharp taught Jonathan Montoya, and Jonathan Montoya taught the Bobsey twins. And they know I followed that. I don't have to remember 2 names.
Right.
But anyway, I said, of all these classes, I said they're all excellent classes. But I said, if you really want to do this, I suggest you take POP. And the reason I want you to take POP is because it's the simplest to understand in the beginning. The customer service is, in my judgment, the best of all of them. The funkiness. And you get a lot of Jonathan's program. You don't get anything of Dave Sharp, but you get a lot of Jonathan's program. And you just went away, so I don't know.
I'm here. Let me go back.
Am I still on?
Yep, you're still on.
Anyway.
Can you see me? You still?
And what I told him was this. I said, before we even start, I mean, you go ahead and I gave you my recommendation. You decide what you want to do. I said, I'm an affiliate for all of them, so I don't really care which one you do. But if you're going to do something, I want you to understand something. I asked him, do you hike? He said, well, yeah, I love to hike.
Right.
I said, all right, well, I love to hike too. And I live in an area where we've got big, beautiful mountains that I can hike anytime I want. I said, I want you to go on a hike with me. And I want you to, let's just start walking up. Let's just start walking up. This is literally what, I'm almost being verbatim what I said to him. I said, let's just start walking up the trail. I said, what are you looking at? And he said, well, I'm seeing. I said, no, I said, that's bullshit. Don't tell me that.
Right.
What are you looking at? He said, I'm looking maybe 100 feet in front of me. I said, that's right. You're looking 100 feet in front of me because you're not sure of that step. You don't know where to step. You've never been there before, right? That's what you're saying. Now you step back and you look up, and there's the mountain, or there's the ridge you want to climb. Those are worthy objectives.
Yeah.
Where are you? I'm on the trail. And what are you looking at? I'm looking 10, 15 feet in front of myself.
Right.
Now, if you can adapt that to your this business and not get caught with shiny objects and not get caught with diversion, you have a chance. But if you slip off of that and you're walking along, and instead of looking 100 feet ahead, you look up at that ridge, you're going to step right off the side of the trail, and you may kill yourself. And shiny objects will kill you faster and everything that's not involved with what you're working on is a shiny object. It may be the greatest concept in the world. It may be the thing that you've got to learn next. But at this moment on the trail, it's a shiny object, and it's dangerous. You've got to stay focused. And if you can do that, I'll coach you as long as you need coaching, and I won't charge anything. But the moment you start looking at that ridge and start talking to me about all this other bullshit, lose my number. I'm not going to spend the time with you because you'll fail, and I don't want to be part of it.
Craig with Jonathan Montoya's, he's watching it live, so he wanted me to make sure I told you, thank you, Papa Don. Craig with Funnel with Jonathan Montoya's Passion.
Right.
Yeah. So
you tell them both. Those are two people I respect very, very much in the world, and they both made a huge impact on my life.
I agree, because you know what, I was introduced to Jonathan Montoya through Daniel through a YouTube about 3 years ago. And just the way that he actually explains the passive income process, and me having an engineering background as well, that's what attracted me to all these engineers. And then like you said, just how it's the system and of explaining, and Daniel and Nathan have been amazing in regards to just their leadership. But before I even just jump into the questions, because you spoke of David Sharp as well, and these are amazing coaches. And so many people say that they're a coach online. What would you honestly say that differentiates them from everybody else that you've dealt with? Because we've both bought and invested in so many courses, but the mentorship and coaching for me, is just beyond ideal. What would you say on your end?
Well, from a personal point of view, one of the things, and this is not the reason I got involved with any of them, but after the fact, the reason I respect them so much is having heard their stories and got to feel like I know them a little bit, and they're real. And I mean, I've spent more personal time with David Sharp than I have with. In fact, I spent no personal time one-on-one with Jonathan. I mean, face-to-face with Jonathan or the Bossy Twins. But
I love the Bossy Twins.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But, they know who I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyway. But the point they all have in common, they all have a reason they did what they did, and they all had an issue that they had to face. They all had that moment on the trail that they said, I cannot look at that. I've got to deal with this.
Right.
And they all teach that, and they beat people up with it at different levels, but they all say it, and it's there to be heard. And so they're all, in my judgment, they're all to get credit for the technology they brought to it, especially Jonathan. Jonathan took David's program and just took it to a whole nother level.
And then put AI on top of it, like with the
on top of it, he's just using AI. But the point being,
right,
that Jonathan brought his engineering background, and he did it. I remember when I first met Jonathan, this back in 21. I didn't meet him, but when I first listened to him, was through Legendary, because he was a top affiliate for Legendary. He was on the Wake Up Legendary show a lot. I couldn't stand his voice. I could stand it when he was talking. But when he those early videos that he did, he was so hyped. And I think it's probably because he was nervous in front of the cameras or whatever, but I don't know. But he was so hyped, it was irritating. I just want to hear what Jonathan says, but I don't want to hear him say it.
People say that about me.
And Jonathan, if you're online, I apologize, but it's the truth.
But you know what, Daniel Chu, he'll stay up late with me in the DMs. His wife, Selena, did my first live conversation in May 6th. Like, the mentorship is, as long as you start working and as long as you put forth action, they'll support you as long as you support yourself, right? So when I look at the next question for us, Papa Don, what was your breaking point when you realized the guru systems weren't built for you and likely not built for most? I mean, I'm included. I have an engineering background as well. That is just, I get it.
Are we on now? Which question are we on?
We're on the one. So what was your breaking point when you realized that the guru systems weren't built for you and likely not built for most?
Shit, I don't know which Give me the bullet so I can get to my notes.
No worries. So it's the bullet after pain. So waking people up to the problem. So we talked about what are the biggest myths or frustrations you've seen with people.
Oh
Yes, yes.
Well, yeah, that's pretty easy, and I answered it to myself here. I said, but I saw hundreds of people spend thousands and thousands on programs,
Mm-hmm.
and yet have no progress. And that's what I addressed a while ago.
Right, right.
These systems were built for scale, not for people. I've tried to create one built for actual results. And one of the things that when Jonathan teaches or talks,
Mm-hmm.
all with tremendous specificity, and it is right on target. A lot of people understand what he says, and a lot of people get lost in the smoke coming out. Okay?
Right, right.
I think that the biggest thing that I think the guru system is that these systems are really built for scale. They were really built, and there's so much information because, and I can appreciate it because I've taken their classes over and over and over.
Right.
I haven't developed a class, so I can't do it from that perspective. But what I see is there's so many things to involve, and there's so much that if I had done this class, I've got to explain because it's all there. But the truth is, that's a whole dinner.
Right.
And this new person trying to get started, they're trying to have an hors d'oeuvre. They're trying to get a taste. And they get overwhelmed, and they hit whatever. It doesn't matter which of the technical issues. All those technical issues are very straightforward. And the training is outstanding, but all put together, it's overwhelming. And a person gets off a little bit,
Right.
they're lost, and they may not come back. In fact, most of them don't come back. And and whether it's Jonathan looking at his numbers or David looking at his numbers, I know David's numbers well enough to know that percentage drops off from that $7 thing to that $2,500 thing. Those numbers drop huge.
Right.
And then those people that do the 2,500 that stay in and keep going, those numbers drop off because now those people are in their training and they're getting lost and they go away. That's where this young man that I just told you about a while ago, that's where he came from. That's where he got lost, and he went away and he just dumped it. He said, I can't do that.
And it is too, because even my business partner, we just had a conversation a couple of days ago. I've been doing this consistently for 3 years, and I have this billionaire plan or what have you, it's day 448. But on a serious note, I just have a no excuse button in me. Like, I've invested so much time. I've failed. I've got a little success, but I have not reached that moment or that point yet, where I can go and say, hey, look, Mom, I did it. I'm not there yet. But, it takes a special kind of person. And that's why I honestly decided to become a captain instead of a coach. Because you know how, like with the Passion Over Profits program, that's a coaching program. Because I've realized nobody was going to do this. That's what I've realized over my 3 years. Like, people fail. And I have a different mindset, and it's okay. But at the same time, if I can lead people to the water, I can't guarantee you drink, but you have to do your own work. This is work. Like, it's not just work physically with digital. It's work as well with the mindset, with belief and having faith and ownership and accountability and a schedule and doing consistently and not having someone over your shoulder. So I want to go right into the next question, my friends, in regards to just that teaser. Can you give us a teaser? What are the 3 steps we'll find in the book? And not all the details, but just enough.
I don't know if anyone heard that thing you read earlier, but what I said in it was it's very straightforward. One is, the first step is just get a good offer, and I recommend a high priced offer, at least $1,000. Okay.
Right.
Because you don't need complexity. You need to develop your skill to be able to sell that. Okay.
Right.
And don't have multiple products and all that crap. You learn how to sell a product, and you learn how to sell yourself. But most importantly, you learn how to listen to the person you're talking to and understand where they're coming from. The second thing is to use simple tools that sell it for you. And every one of those programs lay out those tools, and they give you specific training as to how to use it. And stay inside of your path, and don't. And this is where the shiny object thing comes in, because there's so much crap getting floated around about this shortcut, that shortcut, and so you spend 4 hours. I did an interview with Dave Sharp a few years ago, and it turned out to be something he thought was very good, and they've replayed it several times. He asked me how I spend my day. I said, it's real simple. I get up in the morning. I know what my tasks are. I know the difference between what I want. I'm a very inquisitive individual. I can absorb shiny objects like people would throw up. I read something. I want to. What in the hell is he talking about? I want to know that.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't allow myself to do that. So the first question I focus on in the morning is, what do I do to make money? What am I going to do to make money for my business? The first 2 or 3 hours I spend in a day are only focused on those items. I'm creating videos, I'm creating script, I'm doing whatever those work topics are. Something that generates revenue. I do that. I got to take care of myself, so I've got to have something to do with, in my case, mine's walking, doing some yoga type things just to keep my body still working at my age. So I do that, and then I get into reading, and I'm prolific at sucking other people's brains, because I didn't pay attention earlier when I was a kid. I didn't. I was fortunate in that I made good grades, but that was a God-given gift, and I didn't really pay that much attention, as much as I should. The third thing I do is, the third thing in the steps is, so you use simple tools. And the third thing is just follow a rhythm and just stay with it and get it in. Go back to what I said originally. Realize where you are on the path of your journey. Far ahead of yourself. Try not to be distracted with all the external things. In fact, don't just try not to. Absolutely force yourself not to.
Right.
And stay on track. That's really all I say. And that's why I said, if you're looking for some magic, you're gonna get bored to death, because I say simple stuff and I say it over and over again. And I say that's what you've got to do. And if you can't do that, it doesn't matter how big your dream is, because you're going to get lost looking at that peak instead of looking at that trail.
So what does life look like for someone that stays the course in your 3-step system within your book? What does it look like after accomplishing that actual dream?
Like success in any of the Jonathan's program, any of the programs. It looks like your life concerns are very, very different. Your life interests are very different. You're aware that the price of groceries are going up, but you don't give a shit.
Right.
Okay?
right.
Like, I live off the coast of Seattle. I want to go visit my friend in Tennessee. It's like I'm sure some people don't want to spend the gas mileage to go 200 miles. Well, I don't give a shit. I want to get on an airplane to go see my friend. So the economic freedom is tremendous. But the more important thing, to me at least, is the time freedom. It gives me the opportunity. I know that right now I work harder quite a day than most people work, because that's just who I am. That's just what I do. And I have a lot of interest. I focus on how I make money, and I focus on those things that I want to do. But how does it look to a person? It looks great.
I know that's right.
Well, you've had success, so you understand. You know exactly what I think. The people that are in your group have all had success. I looked at that, a bunch of real estate people, and they've all had big money days and big money lives, and they all have ambitions, and they all have, I'm not picking on them, I'm just using them as an example, but they all have accomplished. They want to accomplish more.
Right.
And some of those that are more successful, they know the same thing, and you know the same thing that I know, is we just keep doing what you do well and don't get ahead of yourself. And that's it.
That's it.
I can't do what Jonathan does. I'm not envious of Jonathan. I'm very respectful of Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan's got a different skill set than I do. But what Jonathan has experienced, what the Bobbsey twins have experienced, what David Sharp has experienced, and others. I mean, I'm coming down to those three because I mentioned them in the book. But
right.
For anyone that has paid attention to what business they're in and done the work, rewards will come. And that's it. It's all there is. And if you can wish it, you can want it, you can taste it, but you can't feel it until you do it. And that's it.
So tell me this, you've gone from from IBM to multi-million dollars to digital marketing. What makes you, Papa Don, uniquely qualified to simplify this digital income roadmap and paying for others, besides talking for over a year and a half to over 10, 15 people a day and the things you've been through? But what makes you uniquely, why should people listen to your book and what your 3-step system is?
They don't have to read the damn thing. They don't have to listen to me at all. But if you take all that body of work, it's all about the same thing. When my wife told me, and people don't know what I'm talking about. You read it in that entry that I did. But when my wife said, "Why don't you start your own business?" I have to be very honest with you. I never even thought of that. That wasn't in my background. That wasn't. I was fortunate that I grew up in a very comfortable environment. I didn't have any major crises in my life. My parents were, I was in a very fortunate situation. And when I got out of graduate school, I wanted to go to work for IBM. And I interviewed with them when I got out of college, and they offered me a job selling typewriters. This is 1965. When I got out of graduate school, I interviewed with IBM again. They offered me another job selling typewriters. And I decided, well, I'm probably never going to work for IBM. And a year or so later, I was buying a house because we had to move to I had to get closer to the factory I worked in. And it turned out that I was trying to buy a house by owner, so I didn't have to pay. I was a cheap guy and money was tight. I didn't want to spend the money to pay a real estate person, which is horrible for me to say in your group, but I didn't want to do that. So I found a home for sale by owner. And he didn't know any more about selling houses than I knew about buying houses. And we stumbled through and eventually got a transaction put together. And as we got to know each other, he shared with me, as one day we're talking about what do you do and all that. And he was in a big software group with IBM. And I told him my funny story of wanting to work for IBM but only being offered jobs to sell typewriters. He said, well, I know all the guys downtown. And Seattle was a major area for IBM. And he said, I can set you up an appointment with someone local and see if you can do something there. And he did. I went through all their testing, and I got offered a job with IBM, and that's how I got into IBM. So that's where it started. And so I learned nothing for the next 15 years, 10 years, 12, 15 years, whatever it was. I learned nothing except what IBM taught me. Now, they taught me very well. I paid attention. I made a lot of money with IBM. I went up the corporate ladder with IBM. And it wasn't until I was in my late 30s, early 40s, I don't remember the numbers, but I had the situation I shared with you where I was offered this job and I turned it down. And the reason I turned it down was because I knew that to succeed at that level, the same way I had been able to succeed at all the levels before me, I would be giving up even more. And by that point in time, I had not seen very much of my sons growing up. And by that time, they were like 10 and 12 years old. I'd been to a couple of plays, a couple of soccer games, and very few other things. I was not involved. Those kids were asleep when I went to work, and they were asleep when I came home at night. And I just couldn't do that anymore. But the only thing I knew was working for a corporation. And when my wife, that weekend I spent after being offered that job, and on Monday going in and turning it down, and knowing that, and also that same day when I turned that job down, I submitted my resignation to IBM. Because in IBM, the issue was if you're offered a job and you don't take it, you're at the highest level you'll ever go in the company. And I didn't want to be at that level anymore. And so I was well known in Seattle because I represented IBM at the Chamber of Commerce. So once people knew I was leaving IBM, I got all these job offers. I was vice president of this bank, this, all these different things. And my wife, finally, after about a month of me going all these interviews and never getting home because I'm always in an interview, she said, "Why are you doing this? Whichever one you decide on, you're going to create the exact same place you just came from. You didn't like IBM for this reason. You're just recreating the same deal. Why are you doing that? Why don't you buy your own? Why don't you build your own company?" That thought had never come into my mind. So within the next 60, 90 days, I found a company, I bought it, a little bullshit company, and I took it for what it was, and I did those things, those marketing and so forth things I learned at IBM, that I tried to apply to an individual business. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. But I built that business up, and in a matter of very few years, I sold it for a lot of money for me at that point in time. It was several $1 million, and that was a lot of money at that time. Most money I'd ever made in IBM was couple $100,000 a year, and that was at a very high performance level.
Mm-hmm.
That happened, and I thought, well, this is great. I'm young. I'm going to shit. I got this money in my pocket. I don't have to do this anymore. Well, that's boring as hell after a very short period of time. And so I got involved with some software stuff, and you read all this stuff. That's all that happened. And so you go through those experiences not knowing at all what to expect, except a problem comes up and you got to deal with it. You don't know your butt from a hole in the ground about how to deal with it. It's real, and it's big, and it's got to get resolved. And so you better be clever, and you better work something out. And so you go through enough of those experiences. Mm-hmm. You never get numb to them, but they don't become as distracting. You can put them in perspective. And so that, I think there's a grit that comes out of that. I think a lot of things come out of it, because I came out of that well before I heard it. The first time I heard what I'm going to say was in this environment that we're in now. But I had come to understanding to myself that I don't fail. I learn. I make mistakes. I did the wrong thing. That was a mistake. But I didn't fail. Something I did fail. And I learned from that, and I moved on. I didn't make that mistake again. And so I've always seen make mistakes. I did the wrong thing. That was a mistake. But I didn't fail. Something I did fail, and I learned from that, and I moved on. I didn't make that mistake again. And so I've always seen failure as learning, and so the failure as learning is a big thing for me. A person coming, however they come to understand that they are all capable of becoming the best version of themselves possible, and people. And trying to get them to pursue that is a worthwhile mission. Anyway, I carried on too much. I told you I got to stay on.
You're great, my friend. This conversation has been so powerful.
You're muted, or I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? You can't. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Dad?
No, I can't. I can't hear you.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Hey, 1 second.
I got no sound.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So this conversation, my friend, has been so powerful. So why So in regards to August 15th, let's talk a little bit about the book launch. Why did you think now, besides legacy that you brought up, besides having the experience, the pain points, who did you write this book for, and why is August 15th so just magnificent for your legacy, your next steps?
Well, I wrote the book for myself because I didn't, and I really don't, one part of me doesn't really care if anyone ever buys the damn thing or not. But I wrote it for myself to put some of my thoughts down. And I wanted to know if I was capable of writing a book. I didn't know if I could even concentrate that long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the truth. It was another mountain to see if I could climb that mountain. Well, I don't know if the book's a good book or a bad book or whatever. I've read it. It does what I've intended to. It builds on itself, and it's not full of technical law. It's just what I perceive as how this thing works. The reason for the getting it out and going through the whole thing. Excuse me. I didn't know this at the time, but in learning, well, how do you publish a book? I had no idea. How do you publish a book? How does that happen? Well, I understand one way to do it is to go through Amazon and that whole thing, and then you get into that world, and then they got all their algorithms and all that stuff. And then I learned about being a best-selling author and what the significance of that was. And that's a big deal. That's like when I was at IBM making the 100% club.
Right.
Here's a prize. I want to get the prize. Well, how do you become a best-selling author? Well, the way, and this to answer your question specifically, and why I'm asking for some help. The way the algorithm works is the day that the book gets published, for the next 48 hours from the time they publish, and it's down to the day and the time. I mean, it's a stopwatch is running. Whatever area a book is going out in, like I'm in business, and that's a very big group, and there's a lot of famous books, and there's a lot of authors that sell a lot of books all the time. In 48 hours, if for 2 days in a row, I can sell more books in that group that anyone else is selling, I'll become a best-selling author. And then when the 48 hours is over, game's over. So what I'm soliciting is for those friends and family and those people that I'm yet to meet. If we put some notifications, some emails or whatever, so they keep them up to date on where it is and what time, and if they're interested in doing it, it's got to be between this hour of that day and this hour of the next day, okay? And if you order that book at that time, it counts for me get to be a best-selling author.
I love it.
That's a good way to do it or not, that's Amazon's way of doing it, and that's how they make a determination.
So tell me, Don, what's your message to those people sitting on the sidelines who've just been thinking about digital income or marketing, but just never tried, and what they can actually kind of get some type of roadmap in your book by even purchasing it during this window of time that you're providing?
Well, the people that are in your group now, they're all in this business somewhere, and if probably the reason they'll buy the book now is because of being nice to you, trying to be nice to me. Let me tell you the pricing of the book. I didn't cover the pricing of the book will be $19.95 once things settle down. Initially, I just put it 99 cents. So my motive is very straightforward. My motive is to have as many people send in 99 cents as possibly can give up 99 cents and order the damn book.
And how many? What's the numbers? How many do we need for you to become bestseller?
We need somewhere between 150 and 200 for those 2 days in a row. I mean, each of those days, 2 days in a row.
Oh, we're gonna kill that, Don. We're gonna kill that.
well, I'm sending out. I don't know if we're going to kill it, overkill it, or whatever.
No, we claim it. We're claiming it. No, that's amazing.
So it's not. It just has to. All has to happen
Within that window.
Right. And so, what we'll have to do from working together, and I appreciate your offer to help.
Mm-hmm.
What we have to do is we got to put together a timeline so people understand it, give them a little update and so forth, and and you say, well, what are the bonuses? Well, most of the people in here, like I said, are already in Jonathan's situation or the Bobsy Twin situation, and
that's Daniel and Nathan for anybody that doesn't know the Bossy Twins. But go ahead. Passion over profits.
Pop,
that's Pop.
They're favorite people. I love listening.
I know, right? I love them. Just in case somebody was trying to Google Bobsy Twins, and Daniel Chu and Nathan Bokers.
Yeah. So just getting that done, and what we'll you and I'll work with your group. We'll get some emails and some things out, and you can do some reminders. And if I don't want to get into the way of your group, but if I don't care, you've got my email address. I don't care if you share it with everyone and just that's my private, but I don't care just because it's not my corporate. But we can use my private. Have them just email me and I can send them stuff. But
well, the great thing is, I'm like I said, I just started the CCC Elevate You, and I'm going to start a Facebook group actually today for just AI webinars. And this is going to be my featured webinar, and we're going to build a campaign to lead you to getting that support of 150 to 200 people. I feel like we can do that over easy. But using all these methods in order to do so. But Papa, now where are you from? Like,
I've got a lot of information I need to send you so you can share it with your people.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I'll get that done. But we've got plenty of time. And
we do, but we don't.
So anyway, that's my reason. And what came out of that experience, not that you asked, but what came out of that was whether the book is successful or not. To me, it was successful because I wrote what I felt.
Right.
And I was honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote the damn thing. So I am now laid out 3 more books I'm going to write.
Nice.
I know the topic, and that's why this top author is a big deal to me, because that gets a lot more credit when you go out for that second, third book. And excuse me, I'm having coughing.
No worries, my friend. And I appreciate your time, Papa Don, seriously. And so I want to just jump into the top 5 and let you go as well. I know I've gone way over what you allocated for me today. But tell me, Papa Don, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. What up, of course. But where are you from? Like, where are you from?
I grew up outside of Wichita, Kansas, and I got a graduate school at the University of Kansas. I went to 5 different universities while I was going through college. I couldn't make up my mind. I just kept moving. But anyway, I graduated on time, and I went to graduate school, and I worked my first job was I worked as an industrial engineer for Boeing back in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And this is the middle of the Vietnam War. And
thank you for your service. Wow. You're a veteran as well, my friend? Keep.
And so the vice president in charge of that facility was the vice president they chose to go to Seattle to run the 747 project. When there was no 747, there was just some buildings being built for it. And he pulled people out of Wichita, he pulled people out of Philadelphia, and he took us all to Seattle. And that's how I got to Seattle. Mm-hmm. I came to Seattle in 19...
Oh, you're in Seattle, Washington?
Yeah, I live my kids grew up on Mercer Island, if you're familiar with Seattle, but I don't live there. I live across Puget Sound over on an island, and I look back at the mountains in Seattle, but I'm over in the woods, and I look out my window here. I've got this house I had redone for my wife and I, and the thing is my office that it used to be. I don't know what it was, a huge room, but I look out the window and I've got the water and the big cruise ships going by and the commercial ships coming in, and our boat is in a marina on the other. There's an island between us and Seattle, and it's on the other side of that island, and so I live around the water, and we spend a lot of time sailing, and we spend a lot of time enjoying just the idyllic environment of being forest and water and trees and sun, and it's a very, very pleasant place to be. And,
I've traveled to 48 out of the 50 states, and Seattle is one of the states I hit. But I have Oregon and North Dakota next. So the reason I got so excited, I'm like, I'm coming to visit. Oregon is right near Washington, and I have family in Seattle that I need to go visit as well. But tell me, if you could be a superhero, Papa Don, if you could be a superhero, what would your superhero be? And I want to know too, your brand. What would your brand be defined as?
Say that again.
If you could be any superhero, mine is Flash. If you could be any superhero, what would your superhero be?
Well, we're dealing with superheroes. First of all, when you asked that question, I didn't even know what a superhero was.
Like Marvel comics? You don't watch Batman or Superman or?
I haven't read comics since I was 8 years old. But anyway, I thought about that. And I said, the only thing I could say is Superman, because that's when I was a kid, Superman was the deal. And so I'd have to say my superhero was Superman. And you also asked me the question about what would be how would you identify
the one
brand?
word is your brand? Yes, sir.
And I came up with enduring.
Why enduring, if I can ask? Mine is resilient for my brand, but why enduring?
I like resilience, and I've had resilience and I've lived through that, but at my point in life, it's continuing forward and long lasting. And so I said, what's the one word that says where I am coming on 82?
Right.
I'm enduring. And I'm very fortunate. God's been very kind to me health-wise, and I've been able to maintain. I mean, I've had a heart attack, I've had strokes, I've had all the little challenges that come along with life.
Right.
But at the end of the day, until my cardiologist tells me game up,
right.
I'm doing fine.
So I want to jump to your favorite day. My favorite day is my sobriety day, which is November 20th, 2023. It's also the day of my birthday of one of my favorite cousins that passed away. But you know what it shows is resilience in regards to just building. I'm on the sobriety journey, 20 months in. So in saying what your favorite day, mine used to be Christmas. It used to be with my foundation, Thanksgiving, giving to other people. But I've noticed with the sobriety journey, a lot of people are struggling with addiction, and a lot of people just don't know how to smile and believe in themselves and just being the best version of themselves. And I don't mind being that pawn, right? So for yourself, my friend, what would you say is your favorite season or day or date that you love that that you kind of enjoy?
Well, if I have to think of a favorite time of the year, I particularly enjoy the fall and the early morning in the fall when it's crisp and the sun's bright and the day's fresh, and I don't know, there's just something about that. Mm-hmm. As far as a favorite day, it's going to sound a little corny. My favorite day is January the 1st.
New Year's? Why New Year's Day?
And the reason for it is because, as I said, my wife and I will be married 60 years next month, and her birthday is on December 31st.
Aww.
New Year's Eve.
Right.
So she grew up with her parents always going off to some New Year's Eve party, with her sister, who was older, always being off on a date. She never was given birthdays to celebrate. And I didn't know that until we were married. And so I made it a point to make sure we always celebrated her birthday in a big way.
I love it. I love it.
And that was a young man 60 years ago, 59 years ago. today it's even more important because it's become so my children know, my grandchildren know, my friends know. It's not just New Year's Day, it's Nana's birthday. And we're going to celebrate Nana. So that's a favorite. It's not that it's a big deal. It's
Right.
not, except for her, it's a big deal.
Exactly. I love it, Papa Don. Aw. What is your favorite travel destination? Mine is Toronto. I used to live in Toronto. My cousin played professional basketball there, Chris Bosh, and so I saw the city and I saw the culture and I saw the people in different melting pots. So that's still my favorite place, even traveling. I've been to Japan, Italy, Spain. I've been to so many different places. Like I said, 48 of the 50 states. What would you say is your favorite travel destination for yourself? And maybe even have you taken your wife somewhere for an anniversary or something like that?
Well, no, unfortunately, in my life, I have won a lot of mileage awards and lived on. I mean, I had off when I was building my companies. I've always lived in Seattle, but I had an office in New York City, right downtown. And I used to, back in those days, I would catch a red eye on Sunday night. I'd fly into Newark, get a cab, go to the same hotel, same room. My bags were still there. Everything was still there. I had my laundry down the street a little bit, so it was getting cleaned over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Fridays, I'd get on a flight at 2 o'clock and then get home about 9 o'clock at night. And I'd spend Friday night, Saturday at home, and Sunday at home. And then Sunday night, I'd get back on the airplane, go back to New York. So I'm not big into flying places. Between that period where I sold after Y2K and 19, I did a lot of consulting. I had made a lot of contacts in New York, and I had done a lot of deals and so forth. I got involved with some pretty heavy investors that basically had me be a front for a lot of their investments. So I spent a lot of time in Miami and some other cities going in and buying companies and negotiating the deals and so forth. That's what I did. And then I got tired of, okay, now for 3 years in a row, I had been, and now this is in the 2015, 2016, 2017 area. Instead of New York, I was doing the same thing to Miami. I mean, same thing, just different hotel, different deal. Nicer place, golf course and all that, but still the same routine. And I finally said, that's enough of this shit. I've had enough. I'm not going to do it. And so traveling is a big deal. My wife and I have, since all the way through my many retirements, because I highlight it in my comment, but I have retired multiple times and I always come back and start doing something again. But we've traveled. We have not been to the Orient at all. We have been to the Americas, and we spent a tremendous amount of time in Europe. And in terms of destinations that I thought about your question. I think the favorite city that I have, which is basically outside the United States, is really based on Europe, was London.
I love London, yes.
But the most scenic places were either down on off the coast of Spain or the coast of Italy.
Yes, it was so beautiful. I've been to Sorrento, Italy, and I've been to Madrid, Spain. Jose Calderon had a basketball camp there where my cousin Chris Bosh was playing, and so we went over there to the camp, and so I went over to Madrid, Spain too. So I agree.
Anywhere, London being the exception, but anywhere where there's nice water and there's good coffee.
Is that Seattle biased? Seattle has the best coffee.
Starbucks is not in that category. Starbucks is a lovely company.
Right.
They're in a different marketplace than I'm talking about.
Do you have, my friend, like a favorite? I still am on Robert Kiyosaki with the favorite book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because financial education and literacy. And then we talked a little bit about re-engineering the education, employment, and retirement system with this digital marketing world. Robert Kiyosaki really shows you the importance of investing and how the rich think, right? In regards to attaining that. Do you have a favorite book or favorite movie that helps with your mindset?
Yeah, I'd say that I have a couple of books that I would recommend, and two to be specific. One is they're old books, very old books. One is Atlas Shrugged by Anne Ryan.
Okay.
Rand.
Yes.
Okay. That book was written back in the 50s. But from a mindset point of view, it's a very, very powerful book.
Yes.
Okay? And from a business point of view, a book by Napoleon Hill called The Hand of Destiny.
I've read that.
It's my very favorite book. Okay. And anyone that wants to be in business, run their own business, would be it's a very big book. In fact, hang on just a second, because I keep it around all the time because I'm always reading pieces of it.
When I first got into the mortgage game, I read that book as well. It was inspired by Dan Gilbert for us to read it when I was working there. So yeah, yes,
dictionary.
Yes.
But anyway, if I get bored or I just like to read the stories.
Right.
But I guess for those people that know Nathaniel Hill, or Napoleon Hill, excuse me, I'm thinking about because I've studied about him a lot, and there is an interesting theory that was all bullshit.
Right, yeah.
It's not a singular person saying that. There's quite a bit of writing about the integrity of that. Because some of the, and I'm not beating on Napoleon Hill, I mean, he's dead. He wrote, however, if he made it all up, he did it well.
Right. That's why I'm laughing, because it's not the first time I've heard that. Yes.
Well, you've heard it before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't make it up. Someone I read something, and then I read something else, and then I did a little research, and I found there were a whole bunch of people that were saying that. And anyway, I don't care.
Right.
What he did, or what he claims to have done, and the way he delivered it is impressive. And it is, in fact, my favorite book.
Well, Papa Don, I want to honestly tell you thank you. You never know how God works in regards to just ordering steps, and for this to be the launch of my CCC Elevate You, to help people with webinars and to elevate faster, and to have it with someone like yourself, accomplished with so many different things. And then too, for us to have a goal for our next step for your branding. So I wanted to kind of end our conversation, because I do value your time as well. If you could tell your younger self, Papa Don, something, what would you tell your younger self to, in regards to just kind of words of inspiration before we sign off?
I would tell my younger self to keep my eyes on the trail and don't be conflicted by shiny objects. I would say that is the most devastating sickness that occurs in our society.
Right.
It is to me, the most critical thing that drives failure.
Yes.
And if I could come up with a magic formula or a magic potion or something that I could give the world to let people truly believe they're capable of being who they want to be.
That's right.
Tony Robbins says it so many ways so well. I would love to have the background that Tony has. I would love to be able to articulate the way Tony does.
Yes.
But in terms of mindset, I haven't met many people that hit the nail on the head as often as he does. He's someone I consider a major mentor. I don't know how many thousands of dollars I've paid him, but I have got value for every penny I've ever spent. And I can't wait to hear his next thing, and he probably will be repeating something I've already heard. I don't care. I like the way he says it.
Right.
And I love listening to it. And he's been a major player in my personal development. And
well, Papa Don, you've been a major player in my development, not only here during this live today, but during class when sessions, when we have our coaching calls, just listening to how you've helped so many people along the way. I honestly want to tell you thank you, because I could have been one of those people that, was giving up on myself in regards to this digital marketing and the opportunities to be available. But over time and seeing what's possible and seeing people like yourself, as well as, the mentors that we have, I honestly wanted to just tell you thank you. And I'm excited to be a part of your journey, and anything that I can do to help you reach your goals, we're going to do it together, my friend. So that's what our community is about. So hopefully this helped.
let me just I just had this thought that's appropriate or inappropriate, but I'm just thinking, as you were speaking, I was thinking, to find a person that you want to help.
Yes.
All those people that are listening to your thing, or if it's just, I'm just talking to you, whatever, please do feel free. I will listen to them. I won't commit that I'm going to do anything, but I will listen to them. And if I can see a spark that this person has the opportunity, I will spend time with them. The last several people I've taken on, I don't charge them anything. I have people I charge a lot of money to.
Right.
Because they're boys or big girls and they should know better, and
right.
they can afford it, and they can damn well write checks.
Right.
But I've got a lot of people I don't charge anything. I am very serious about wanting. It's not a gospel, it's just an opinion. But I believe if all of us could just take one person and help that one person get over their own stumbling blocks,
right,
and understand that they are capable of being whoever they think they are.
That's
whoever
right.
They want, that first person inside, that's in there.
Yeah.
They just can't see it. Anyway, thank you for the stage, and I didn't meet your people, but I've seen some of the stuff you sent me.
And we're going to play the replay. I'm putting it on all my platforms. And like I said, I'm going to post it in my groups, and we're going to, I'm going to put it on all the communities, and I'm going to do my part to help leverage, because even if this is our first time and it's messy, we did it together and, utilizing the opportunity. So I am going to still ask for the 60-second testimonials once we get done, just kind of your experience working with this first opportunity, working, just doing a live conversation with myself. And Papa Don, Mr. Donald Meeks, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
I want you to understand what you just said.
Yes, sir.
What you just said is, let's just move one person. Just move one person.
You moved me.
If everyone in this room, could move one person.
Right.
Okay. That's all.
That's it.
Please, I don't care. They can spread my email out. I'll listen to someone, but the caveat is that if you don't get it from this conversation, I promise it's true. I am absolutely a no bullshit guy, and I'll talk about what it is our objectives are, and we all agree on those objectives.
Right.
And I'll do what I'm supposed to do. They don't do what they're going to do.
That's
I'll
it.
wish them luck.
That's it. And I've created that too, because your time is your most valuable asset, and we don't have time to waste when we're trying to help people. So.
Well, I got all the time I need to take if I want to.
If you want to, right.
I'm not dependent on something that's going to go nowhere. And anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much as well. I appreciate you. You'll see the replay. Don't worry. I'm going to post it.
We got some stuff we got to put together for you to distribute.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Okay, we'll talk soon. I'll reach out to you shortly in the DM as well. Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's not good. How I get out of here.
And you know what? If it didn't save, if it didn't save, I'm posting this backup video. I'm just telling you right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, are you kidding me? I couldn't make this up. I could not make this up. I couldn't make this up for anything. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you recorded that. Oh my gosh. So the issue was I couldn't have my mic in at the same time as the charger. And we can. Thank God. Oh. I was getting ready to say, because I'm telling you, I was like, that value, and I know it probably didn't go live. I don't, it doesn't matter because I have a backup. Papa Don. God is good. Oh my gosh. So, some tweaks to things I got to do. No worries, because we got it recorded live with Papa Don, July 29th, 2025. First time using CCC Elevate U software. I'm going to get the tweaks out. Got some things to do. I'm just glad I recorded it. And I'm going to upload this one too, just in case, because I don't, I'm going to go and do the due diligence, because I don't think it posted live like it was supposed to. And I got to work how to get the kinks out with the actual webinar going to the other engine. So got some work to do. No worries. But we tried it. We did it. I can, I will, I shall be victorious. What up though? Day 448 in the billionaire journey. No fear. Just action over here. Let's go.